Hello, friends. So today we are enjoying a black tea brewed in Kenya, and I really like it when I can buy teas that are like fair trade kind of thing. Like you can know who the farmer is or know who the person who picked the tea is. I can't always afford to buy sustainably or the best stuff because I'm poor, but it's nice to do it when I can. Anyway, and it's an excellent tea. It is absolutely amazing. All right. So today's story is called The Turnip. And again, these are Grimm's fairy tales, so not always suitable for children. Just please keep that in mind. Once upon a time, there were two brothers, both of whom served as soldiers. One was rich, the other poor. Since the poor brother wanted to improve his circumstances, he left the army and became a farmer. He dug and hoed his little piece of ground and planted turnip seeds. As the turnips began to grow, one became large and strong and noticeably fatter than the others. It seemed as if it would not stop growing at all. Soon it was called the queen of all turnips, because nobody had ever seen one like it, nor will anyone ever see one like it again. At last it became so big that it filled an entire wagon by itself, and 2 oxen were needed to pull it. The farmer did not know what to do with the turnip, nor did he know whether it would bring him luck or misfortune. Finally, he thought, if you sell it, you won't get anything worth much, and if you eat it, you might as well eat the small turnips, which are just as good. The best thing would be to bring it to the king. That way you could honor him with a gift. So he loaded the turnip on his wagon, hitched up 2 oxen, and brought it to court and gave it to the king. "What kind of a rarity do we have here?" asked the king. "I've seen many strange things in my life, but I've never seen such a monstrosity as this. What kind of seed did it grow from? Or do you have a green thumb and are Lady Fortune's favorite son?" "Oh no," the farmer replied. "I'm not Fortune's favorite son. I'm just a poor soldier who gave up the army life because I can no longer support myself. Now I've taken up farming. You probably know my brother, your majesty. He's rich, but nobody pays attention to me because I have nothing." Then the king took pity on him and said, "You shall be relieved of your poverty, and shall receive such gifts from me that will make you the equal of your brother." So he gave him a great deal of gold, fields, meadows, and herds, and made him so terribly rich that his brother's wealth could no longer match his at all. When the brother heard what he had acquired with a single turnip, he became jealous and pondered ways to get Fortune to smile on him too. However, he wanted to plan everything in a more clever way. So he took gold and horses and brought them to the king, for he was firmly convinced the king would give him a much larger present in return. After all, if his brother had obtained so much for a turnip, he would certainly get many more beautiful things. The king accepted his gifts and said that he could think of nothing better or rarer to give him than a large turnip. So the rich brother had the turnip loaded on his wagon and driven to his home. Once there, he did not know on whom to vent his anger and frustration. Finally, some evil thoughts came to him, and he decided to kill his brother. He hired murderers and showed them a place where they were to ambush his brother. Afterward, he went to his brother and said, "Dear brother, I know where there's some secret treasure. Let's dig it up and divide it among us." The brother liked the idea and went with him without suspecting a thing. However, when they went out into the fields, the murderers fell upon him, tied him up, and were about to hang him from a tree when they heard loud singing and hoofbeats in the distance. They became frightened for their lives and hastily shoved their prisoner head over heels into a sack. Then they hoisted it up on a branch and took flight. But soon the prisoner was at work and managed to make a hole in the sack through which he could poke his head. Then, who should happen upon the way but a wandering scholar, a young fellow, riding along the road through the forest and singing a merry song. When the man up in the tree noticed that someone was passing below, he cried out, "Welcome! You've come just at the right time." The scholar looked all around him but could not detect where the voice was coming from. Finally he said, "Who is calling me?" The man of the tree answered from above, "Lift your head. I'm sitting up here in the sack of wisdom, where I've learned great things in only a short time. Compared to this, sorry, all schools are like a bag of hot wind. Soon I shall have learned all there is to know. Then I'll climb down from the tree and be wiser than all other human beings. I understand the stars and the signs of the zodiac, the movements of the wind, the sands and the sea, the cures for sicknesses, and the power of herbs, birds, and stones. If you could be here in the sack just once, then you'd know the glorious feeling that flows from the sack of wisdom. When the scholar heard all this, he was astounded. I cannot read today. I'm sorry. He was astounded and said, "Blessed be this hour in which I have found you. Could it be possible for me to get into the sack for a little while?" The man of the tree answered as if he did not like the idea. "I'll let you do it for a short time if you pay me and speak sweetly. But you'll have to wait another hour because there's still something more that I have to learn." The student waited a little while, but he became impatient and begged to be let in because his thirst for knowledge was so overwhelming. The man of the tree pretended to give in to the scholar finally and said, "In order for me to leave the house of wisdom, you must lower the sack by the rope. Then you may climb in." So the scholar lowered the sack, untied it, and set the man free. Next he cried out, "Now pull me up quickly!" And he sought to get into the sack feet first. "Stop," said the other, "that's not the way." He grabbed the scholar's head and shoved him upside down into the sack. After that, he tied the sack and hoisted the disciple of wisdom up the tree by the rope. Then he swung him back and forth in the air and said, "How's it going, my dear fellow? You see, I'm sure you already feel wisdom coming and are getting valuable experience. Sit there nice and quiet until you get wiser." Upon saying this, he mounted the scholar's horse and rode away. An hour later, however, he sent somebody to let the scholar down. The end. That was weird, interesting. I dropped my bookmark. Let me know what you think of that story. I definitely admire the cleverness of the young man. I like the fact that he let the scholar down later. They didn't just leave him there to die. Anyway. All right, friends. It's time for your next adventure. Thank you for your patience with me and my inability to speak today. Cheers.